this is Sonia with Artsy Solutions, and I just want to show you what I made with some of the tea dyed papers that I made. I made a batch of them, and some of them came out, I kind of burned them, some of them, and they were really brittle. But I decided to just keep it anyway because I did like the contrasting colors that it provided. So I did a collage of these on these right here. And I also did some decoupaging and stuff, which I'll show you in a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to do something with my little stash of tea-dyed papers. So the first thing that I did make, this right here, it's a little journal, but it was originally supposed to have been a pocket. And I decided to add some fabric, some muslin along the edges. But had it been a pocket, it wouldn't have had any fabric on this side. So I decided to just turn it into a journal. You know, that way the fabric would show all the way around, all four corners. So this is what it looks like. And I took this Season of Gratitude, this, as well as these flowers and this little image, these and this little butterfly. These are all from napkins. I did some decoupaging on those, and if you can see in the backdrop, you'll see some book pages, and if you look close enough, you can see some of those darker pieces of burnt tea-dyed paper, but it's just been gessoed over, so it's a little bit lighter than the original. And I just added some bling, and I did stitch around the edges. And then here's the back, and I just loved that image that I decoupaged, and I just added some white gesso in the background, and then I added the image, and then I came back and added even more gesso to it. And so it's a single signature journal, and it opens up like so, and it has like a little pocket right here, and just I had some clear stickers of a sunflower, and then I had a little die cut book plate, and I fussy cut out the little butterfly, added some words and punched the scallop punch on there. And I just have some white paper and some tea stain paper in here, you know, just solid. And I made this little paper clip in a previous video earlier this year, actually in the spring is when I made it. And it's a double-sided paper clip. But yeah, it basically just has some journaling space, and then it has a little pocket right here, and then it also has the clear or transparent little flower image. And we just have some little Tim Holtz papers that I just stuck down in there. But that's basically it as far as this little journal. And then I made two pockets similar to how I made this. I added the book pages and some of the darker colored, the burnt tea-dyed paper, and then used some decoupaging, some napkins, and added that on there. But I left the back the way without any type of decoupaging. That way you could kind of see the old book or the burnt book pages in its natural form. So that's the first one, and then I just put some little ephemera into these little pockets, you know, just to fill it up or whatever. And the same with this. I just added some ephemera, and I did some decoupaging, the little butterfly, and added a little bling to each one of these the pockets in the journal. So it's real easy. So let me just show you how I made it. I did some tea staining or tea dyeing papers, and some of them when I dried them in the oven on a piece of foil, and some of them I kind of got sidetracked and burn them. So, but I do like the color of this one, this burnt one. But if you see how brittle it is, it's, yeah. But I decided what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some that are still sturdy, And I guess I'm just going to do some decoupaging. I'm going to create like a collage with some of these brittle papers. And I'm just going to use a combination of those. First one I'm going to do, I guess, is, okay, this one's pretty strong. So I'll probably use this one. I might just do both of these. So I'm going to take bits and pieces of the brittle papers, and I'm going to add them, I'm going to decoupage them or collage them onto the other tea-dyed paper. So we're going to have tea-dyed collaged tea-dyed papers, if that makes any kind of sense. And let's see, I'm also probably going to add maybe some book pages or something. We'll see. So to start out, I'm just going to go ahead. Yeah, I think I will add book pages in the backdrop. So I'm just going to tear some of those apart. And we're just going to add in our collage. And I'll probably decoupage an image on here as well after I finish all of this. I think I'm going to keep it kind of simple. I was going to add some music sheets, but I don't know. We'll see. So let me get my Mod Podge. Okay, so I've got my homemade Mod Podge, which is equal parts glue and water. And I'm just going to do, like we all know, you just start gluing. I'm just going to put the glue on different parts of the page and then glue on some of this paper. But yeah, I don't really have a specific idea of what I'm going to do with this. I'm just wanting to make something out of it. But if you ever do some tea dyeing, or coffee dyeing or whatever, and if you dry your stuff in the oven, this is a great alternative to, and if they come out crisp, crisp and brittle like this did, like some of my pages did, this is a great alternative to throwing it away or something, or making it a little bit more sturdy, you know. Just add it to this. So okay, now I'm gonna add the brown, the brittle pages. To make sure I got my glue on there, because I just love the colors of these. And I mean, it is tea dyed, so, and it's still what you call it, copy paper is what I had used originally. And so, but yeah, the effort that's put into coffee or tea dyeing, I just don't like for it to go to waste. So that's why I decided I'm just going to do this, and we're going to see what it looks like. You know, have two different shades of tea dyes, but it's still tea dyed. I should have tea dyed some book pages is what I should have did. I might do that next. I'm just going to add some of these on here, collage some of these on here on both pages, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I dried these two, and this is what they look like so far, with the book pages and the original tea-dyed papers. So now I'm probably going to turn these into like some vertical pockets or something. So let's see. First, let me turn it over like this, because I'm wanting it to be able to fit into a journal. So I'm probably going to cut it down just a little bit on the sides. I'm going to do both of them like that. I'm just going to make 2 of them into journal pockets. So I'm just going to cut it down. And I'll cut this one down to approximately almost the same size. And I'm just eyeballing it. I don't really know. I didn't measure. So, it's fine because I'm just, when I glue it, I might fold it over and glue. We'll see. Yeah. What I think I'll do is I'll have 1 long pocket and then 2 short pockets. So let me just fold this in half so that these 2 can be the same size, roughly. And then I'm just going to cut it in the middle. And I think I will straighten this up a little bit right here because it's not quite as straight as I would like. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'm just going to take a circle punch and I'm just going to punch a hole I think I'll make this the front. Hopefully it'll cut. So I'm just going to punch a hole at the beginning. It didn't punch too well. So I'm just going to cut where I was trying to punch at. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this. I wonder if I hold it like this, if I can get it to punch correctly. Yay, it punched. Okay. Not quite in the center, but I think I can live with it. Yeah, I can live with it. Okay, so we've got these, and I'm probably going to distress these right here. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take some white gesso and I'm going to do some decoupaging. I'm going to decoupage the image in the center. Use a different brush. And I need for it to have a white background so that it can show pretty well. So I'm probably going to give it like 2 coats of gesso. Okay, so this is what we have so far. I just added some white gesso to both of these little pockets on one side, but I didn't do it on the other side. But on this one, I did add just a little bit of gesso on this, just to kind of blend this together. And then I'm getting ready to add an image on here from a napkin. And So this is the napkin that I'm going to use. It's a 3-ply napkin. It's a season of gratitude, like a little Thanksgiving one kind of, with your wheat on there. And I've already taken the image out, or just the part that I want to add on here. And I think I'm going to put season of gratitude on this page. So I'm just going to decoupage both of these on here. And I guess I need some type of an image on here, and I'll find one in a minute. But in the meantime, I'm just going to get my decoupage, my Mod Podge back out again, and get my little brush, and we're just going to add this image on here. I'm just going to brush some of this Mod Podge in the center of where this white is, and I can put some even further beyond where the white is. I just want to make sure the image is going to completely stay on. Then I'm just going to make sure I place it specifically where I want it, and I want it directly like in the center. So like that. I'm just going to take my brush and from the center just kind of dab and go out. Like really gently, because you want to make sure that you get your image completely flat on there without any bubbles. So you want to take your time and make sure you get that right, just right, going out. And do the same thing from the middle, working your way out. Oops. And then you can come back over it with some more Mod Podge to make sure it's going to stay sealed in. And you can go ahead and dry it. I'm going to add my season of gratitude on this side and do the exact same technique. Apply the same technique. Add my Mod Podge, and then I'm going to put this right here in the center. And I love how that's so pronounced. I should have slid it over some, but that's fine because I can use some type of filler. But that's what it looks like so far. So we're going to draw this, and I'm going to find some images to decoupage on these, and we're going to use the same technique as we use with these right here. So I've got several different napkins that I'm using, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some images from the different napkins and add them on here, such as this one here and this little butterfly. I took it from this little bird thing. Here's a little butterfly, and then here's a little piece of this little bottom part of the napkin that I added on here. And I took this little circular piece that has like a stamp, like a date stamp on it, and it came from this botanical napkin. Let's see. This little piece here, I took it and then I added it on here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of combine some of all these together. I just decoupaged this little small bird onto the one of the small envelopes or pockets. And so now I think I'm going to use a butterfly image. Yeah, I'm going to use this butterfly image that comes from this napkin. So I'm just going to add it on. I think I'll have it turned like so. I just love how bright it turns once it's on here. How the colors just kind of pop. And I want to combine a combination of things on here. So since all of these have these little flowers, I think I'm just going to add a little piece of a flower to this, just to try to tie all the images together and make it look like they're all a match. So I'm just basically tearing it apart, and then I'm just going to add this on in this little corner. I think I'll turn it like this. Yeah. And although there's a little bit of overhang, that's fine, because when it dries I can cut it off and maybe even sand it off. So I'm just going to let all this dry, and then I'll be right back. Okay, and so now I'm basically just going to take some distress ink, and I want to distress around the edges. Okay, so I've decided I want to add some fabric to it, some muslin fabric. So basically what I'm just going to do is I'm going to cut a piece that's just going to slightly overhang at about like maybe a half inch away from the page. And I'm going to glue it to the what you call it? I'm going to glue it to the whatever this thing's called. Pocket. So I'm just gonna cut and rip because I like the way the edges look when you rip the paper or rip the fabric. So that's what I'm going to do, is cut and rip. Okay, so this is going to fit around it pretty much like this. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue in the center so that I can get this stuck together. Just going to add a little bit of art glitter glue. Just a little bit, just to kind of hold it in place. And if you're going to stitch, this would be the perfect time to do just that. So I'm just going to glue this on. And any excess you can still cut and rip if you need to, but I would probably do that after you stitch it on, because you want to make sure you've got enough held in place to stitch it. So hopefully this won't move. Fabric won't move when you're sending it through your sewing machine. And I haven't been having luck with my sewing machine, so I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I am going to give it a shot. So, but first I'm just going to glue these in position so that they don't move around. But I didn't put any glue like on this main edge because that's where I'm going to sew at. I just kind of put it in the center. So I'm just going to set that aside and let it completely dry before I even attempt to send it through the sewing machine. And I'm going to add some fabric to these while those are drying. Okay, so another thing I'm going to do before I stitch is around the open area. So I'm just going to kind of cut going around this little area. I wish I knew how to like sew, like not sew, but cut it without it looking too bad, like in a perfect circle. I'm sure there's tools out there for that, but I don't own any of those. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it and doing it by hand. Just kind of straighten up your edges a little bit if they look too jagged. But yeah, so I'm going to go through all of them and then cut these out. So this is what I have. I did stitch around the edges. However, when I go, this was going to be a pocket, but I think I'm just going to make this into like a one signature journal, like a little mini journal, I guess you could call it. And I'm just going to add some blank pages in here, and then maybe even glue on some of this burnt looking paper to it. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add this to the insides. I'm just going to glue it on and add some journal pages. And I'm trying to think of what kind of glue I want to use on this. I guess I'll use art glitter glue. This is really, really brittle, so I'm having to kind of be really careful as to how I'm putting this on here and how I break it off so the whole thing doesn't crumble off. Just going to add some glue all over it so it'll definitely stick. The good thing about art glitter glue is it sticks to fabric really, really well. So hopefully this won't come up anytime soon. And then I can decorate it with some other stuff. Okay, so I got the signature sewn in, and I just used some regular copy paper as well as some tea dyed paper just to kind of make it look more full, you know. So that's pretty much it for this one. And then now I need to glue these together. But I had like extra leftover muslin fabric on this side, and I attempted to cut and then rip, and when I did, I took too much of it off. So what I'm going to do whenever I get ready to glue this on, I'm gonna add this back to it. I'm just going to glue. Let me just go ahead and do it now. I want these little scraggly sides to be on the outside. So let me just add some glue on the inside of this all the way down, and we're just going to add this back on there. I'm just going to try to straighten it out. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry, but I was able to add that fabric back to the side so it's not like weird looking. This side's still a little bit wider, but I can live with that. So while that dries, I'm just going to go ahead and glue these two together. And notice I glued outside the stitches. That way we'd have room to add stuff in here. Lid to the glue. Okay, so but yeah, I can just add some type of ephemera. I guess here's a tag. Here's another little small tag. Here's a tag. I made this in a previous video. Using up scraps where I made my words and stuff. Just stick that in there, and then we have ourselves a little journal, a little small one. But I don't know, I think I might just take just a little bit of gesso and go up through there, because you can kind of see where the napkin's at. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of gesso around it. I'm just going to add just a little bit. Just to make it kind of blend in, you know. Just kind of dab. And it's watered down too, so. Okay, so that's pretty much it, and this is now dry. So I think I'm just going to add maybe a gem or some type of bling on these. So voila. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Check out my other videos and my blog and social media sites. And as always, I thank you guys so much for watching.